You know that perfect temperature that just makes your house feel right? Well, if you live anywhere near the coast, there's actually an invisible battle happening every single day to try and ruin that comfort. And the biggest enemy? It might just be the very thing you love most about living there, that fresh ocean air.
I mean, think about it. You move to the coast for the amazing views, the beautiful weather, the sea breeze. But what if that very same environment is secretly waging a war on your home? A costly, hidden war that's happening right under your nose.
And really, that's the core of it. In beautiful places like Carlsbad, California, that lovely, salt-filled air is a constant threat to your home's heating and cooling systems. You know, your HVAC.
So first things first, let's get to know the enemy in this fight. We're talking about a very specific coastal microclimate that creates a pretty unique challenge for any home.
Just imagine the daily abuse your system goes through. It wakes up to a cool, damp, salty marine layer. Then that burns off into a scorching afternoon that can easily hit the 90s. These wild temperature swings force your HVAC to work like crazy, all while that salty fog is just relentlessly eating away at all the metal parts.
So, all of this climate stress leads to some very specific and, often hidden problems inside your house. And we're not talking about small annoyances here. These things can mess with your comfort, your health, and for sure, your bank account.
Okay, problem number one. The most aggressive enemy here is salt air corrosion. Seriously, think of it like rust, but on super speed. And it is especially brutal for any part of your system that has to live outside.
You see, salt basically just supercharges the whole process. It makes any moisture around way more corrosive, which just accelerates the breakdown of metal. It literally eats away at your outdoor unit, which causes refrigerant to leak out and can even trigger electrical failures. And get this, if you live within 2 miles of the ocean, this whole process is happening even faster. It's a silent killer for these machines.
And then there's the problem you can actually feel in the air. Way too much moisture. Your standard air conditioner, it just wasn't built to handle the heavy, humid air you get right on the coast.
This is why your thermostat can say it's 72 degrees, but your house still feels all clammy and sticky. And that extra moisture isn't just uncomfortable, it's the perfect breeding ground for mold inside your ducts, which absolutely tanks your air quality. So what do? You crank the AC down even lower, wasting a ton of energy without ever fixing the real problem.
Now, the third big problem is often lurking where you can't see it, inside the walls of older coastal homes. The ductwork itself is literally working against your modern AC system.
See, a lot of these houses were built with ducts that were only designed for heat, and heat doesn't need as much airflow. So when you hook up a powerful modern air conditioner, it's like asking it to breathe through a tiny coffee stirrer. The airflow is so restricted that the indoor coil can actually freeze solid, completely shutting down the cooling process.
Okay, so that's a lot of bad news, I know. But here's the good news. You are not defenseless in this fight. There's a clear 3-part strategy you can use to fight back and keep your home comfortable.
And a plan is actually pretty simple. It's emergency repair for when things break, preventative maintenance to stop them from breaking in the first place, and system replacement for when it's just time to upgrade. Let's quickly break down each one.
First up, emergency repairs. This is your go-to when the AC conks out on a 100-degree day. The name of the game here is speed, getting an expert out to figure out what's wrong and get you comfortable again fast.
Now, to avoid those emergencies in the first place, you've got step 2, preventative maintenance. This is the smart, proactive play. Think of it like a regular doctor's checkup for your system. It's all about catching those small problems, like a worn-out part or low refrigerant, before they turn into a huge, expensive nightmare.
And a third part of your plan is system replacement. Now look, if your system is over 15 years old or it feels like you're repairing it every other month, replacing it isn't admitting defeat. It's making a smart financial call for better efficiency, more reliability, and saving money in the long run.
And that brings us to the million-dollar question. It's the one every homeowner faces when their HVAC starts acting up. Is it better to just repair it one more time? Or is it finally time to replace the whole thing?
I mean, the trade-offs are pretty obvious, right? A repair costs less right now and it fixes the immediate problem, but a replacement, while it costs more up front, gives you that long-term reliability and energy savings, especially if your system is already over 15 years old. So how in the world do you make that call?
Well, believe it or not, there's actually a super simple rule of thumb that can help you make this decision with confidence. It's called the $5,000 rule, and it basically takes all the guesswork out of the equation.
And the whole point of this rule is really straightforward. It's a financial guideline designed to stop you from pouring good money into a failing system that's probably just going to break down on you again in a few months anyway.
And the math could not be easier. You just get the estimated cost of the repair, you multiply that number by the age of your system in years, and that gives you your magic number.
And here's the bottom line. If that final number you get is more than $5,000, that's a really strong signal that replacing the system is the smarter financial move for the long haul.
Let's just run through a quick example. Let's say you have a 15-year-old system and it needs a $400 repair. Okay, so you multiply 400 by 15 and you get $6,000. Since that number is way over the $5,000 threshold, the rule tells you it's probably time to start looking at a new system. It's a simple but really powerful tool for making a tough call.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. Whether it's salt in the air, crazy humidity, or just plain old age, every single home is fighting its own unique battles. So the real question is, what invisible battles is your home fighting? And do you have a plan to win?